Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Christine with Pattercrafts, and today we're working with the Simon Says Stamp Sea Treasure card kit. This is the first card that I have made with this card kit. I've already have the elements for this card ready to go. I stamped out and die cut one of the mermaid images and the turtle. My distressed oxide inks are ready to go. I have this watercolor paper with a mask made from copy paper on top, my card base, inside panel, and some Arteza real brush pens. Also grabbing some paper towel and an acrylic block to help with the coloring. So the first thing we're going to do is take our watercolor paper, that is our front panel. I just cut an oval out of some copy paper, put a little tape on the corners and put it down. This is my first time using the Distress Oxide inks. They are really creamy and very smooth to put down. I was trying to get the water droplet effect with the water, but I'm not sure if I didn't let the water sit long enough. I didn't have very good luck with that. So stamping the seaweed, or the seagrass, whichever you want to refer to it as, down for like the bottom part of our ocean scene. And I'm using 3 different colors of the real brush pens, just for some different depths and colors. I was really impressed with how these real brush pens were on the oxide inks. I thought the colors were pretty vibrant for coloring over the distress ink. I did not bring the water brush for any blending because I was afraid that with the oxide inks underneath it would make a mess. So I just laid the color down that I wanted the fish to be and left it as is. And I'm really happy with the end result. So I'm glad I didn't bring that water brush pen. We will bring it in though for the turtle and the mermaid as we're coloring those 2 images. The turtle, I used 2 different green pens, and I will leave all the colors of all the pens that I used today in the description below. So the turtle was pretty easy to color, just pretty much just a couple of different greens and just added some shadows where I thought there'd be some shadows with a darker color. Now for our little mermaid, I wanted her tail to be purple, so we're using 2 different purple real brush pens here. Now with these pens, I find that the watercolor paper works best. I have heard of people using other types of paper, but for me, this is what works for me. I also found that once I lay the color, I pretty much need to bring the water brush right to it in order to get the color to blend. Now this pink was really, really light. So I put some of the pen right on my acrylic block so I could add color to it with my water brush. When you do that, it's not quite as dark as if you lay the color directly with the pen, and it's really nice for filling in when you can't get the color to blend as far out as you might have wanted it to. But this pink was super light, so I did bring in a darker pink color for her hair to add shadows and some depth as best as I could. And I was really happy with the way this came out. So we're just adding a little bit of blue to her seashells. And now for her skin, in the set of 48 that I received, there's not a lot of like pale skin tones. There's just this one marker. So again, I used the block to get a lighter color so that it would blend out really nicely. For a lot of the colors that are really light, if you put some of the ink on an acrylic block or any kind of like slick surface, that's a great way to get your shading in if you need to. So we're going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. And I'm using the Misty because I am stamping on watercolor paper and it did take a couple of times. Now here's where I decided I wanted to cut my watercolor panel down. So I'm just using a stitched rectangle die here. This one happens to be from Simon Says Stamp, but there are lots of companies that make stitched rectangle dies. And run that through my Cuttlebug and cut that out. So now I'm trying to determine where I want my little mermaid to go. Realize she covers one of the fish up, which I was hoping it wouldn't cover it up, but there was no way around it. So I didn't want just a part of it hanging out. So I decided to just put her exactly where it would cover the fish completely. So I added our little sea turtle with some Tombow Mono glue, and I'm adding our mermaid onto the card front with foam tape. Now, because the water droplets did not do what I wanted them to do, I am bringing in some glossy accents. And I'm going to go ahead and add some dots of the glossy accents for a little extra dimension. Also was kind of looking for some, little bubbles. It was clogging, so unfortunately I had to stick a pin in it a few times. Now, because this is a mermaid card and it really should be all kinds of glittery and shiny, I am using a Wink of Stella glitter brush to add some shine to her tail and her hair. My brush is getting a little dry, so it looks like I'm adding a ton. But I was having a hard time getting the glitter to come out. Now you could use the Wink of Stella, or I know that Spectrum Noir has something similar. You could just use some regular glitter into certain places if you wanted to add a little glitz to your card. So for my inside card panel, I took another image from the stamp set of a mermaid, stamped that with some London Fog Memento ink, and we're going to just go ahead and adhere that to the center because the card base is a dark blue cardstock. I want to have a white mat on the inside. So there it is, card number 1 from the Sea Treasures Simon Says Stamp card kit. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed and you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, bye.